So basically the visual bridge and meter bridge are used for measuring resistances. The third device is or instrument is potentiometer. Potentiometer is used for actually comparing or measuring voltages for potential differences. So the potential, with the measurement of potential differences, it's also possible to calculate the current and resistance also. So we see, but basically they are based on measuring potential differences accurately, right? So we just draw the diagram for the potentiometer. Here, okay. So the potentiometer is similar to meter bridge as a resistance wire, right? The resistance wire doesn't need to be 1 meter, it can be any length, but it should be a known length, right? And then you have the millimeter scale marking, right? So that is to find the position of the slider so that the length, this length, or the balance length can be measured. Okay, so we normally always bother to find the length on this side. So the basic arrangement is you have a source. It should be a very steady source, right, with a steady voltage. It can't be a changing voltage, right? Steady EMF should be there. Then you have a switch here, because even if you use a steady voltage source, you use continuously, if you run the current through the circuit, the voltage might drop down, right? So that is why we have a K switch, right? This is not a requirement in a meter bridge or a VC bridge, because the voltage doesn't influence the measurement. But here the measurement is influenced by the voltage, right? So therefore it should be a very steady EMF. Steady EMF and therefore steady current, right? K will help you to closed only when required for actual measurement is taken. Right? So initially, now we divide this circuit into two portions. What is the primary portion? Now what is here with the including the resistance wire is the primary circuit. What is coming below is called the secondary circuit, right? So the primary circuit, you don't have to bother about the primary circuit or secondary circuit initially. If you look at the primary circuit, right, when you close the switch A, current will flow through the potentiometer wire. Now, because the current is flowing and there is a resistance, if the total resistance is if the length of the resistance wire is L, right? Say this is L, and it has a resistance per unit length R. Resistance per unit length R. So even if it is not known, you can calculate. If the total resistance of the wire is known and the length of the wire is known, you can divide it and find out resistance per unit length, right? So then we should know L and R, right? So initially we can calculate the voltage drop across VAB, right? So VAB you can calculate, because if you use the Kirchhoff law or Ohm's law, right, you can find what is the voltage drop or Kirchhoff law, what is the voltage drop across VAB, right, potential drop across AB. So VAB, if you find VAB, calculate, and then now like this one, you can also find voltage drop per unit length, right? Now R is resistance per unit length, L is the length, total length. Now what I am going to say is, now VAB you can write I into I, you can separate the calculate I into VAB, I into VAB, I into R into L, right? Now you see, what is the voltage per unit length? Voltage per unit length. If VAB is I into R into L, what is the voltage per unit length? Voltage is I into R into L. Voltage per unit length, you would divide that by L. So I into R is the voltage per unit length, right? So those are the two important parameters in a potentiometer. One thing is, with the length and the total resistance, you have to calculate resistance per unit length R, right? Then I you can calculate, because the series resistance there, if you know the value of that, and the total resistance of AB, you can find I. So you can calculate that also, because once you calculate, I doesn't change, right? Now you adjust RS and bring a convenient I. By changing RS, you can bring a convenient I. So once you change everything and fix it, I is not going to change. So I is constant. Then I into R into L is VAB, right? So voltage per unit length in the resistance wire is I into R, right? Now the circuit is now in the steady condition, the current is flowing, a voltage per unit length is established, right? Now if you measure any length here, then you can find the voltage in that length. Is it clear? Right? We know the voltage per unit length. If you measure a length, you can multiply that by length to find the voltage across that length. That's also clear, right? Now you see, I want to measure the value of V1. That is, now assume I am connecting another battery here, and for which I want to find out the voltage value. Let's say that is V1, right? Or any other voltage, it doesn't need to be battery. Some voltage value I want to measure. Now potentiometer is basically measuring voltages. Now what I do, my voltage, the positive polarity of the measured voltage and the positive polarity of primary circuit should be in the same point A, right? Otherwise we can't do this. You can't change it. Always now, because the positive polarity of primary circuit is at A, positive polarity of the secondary circuit also should be at A or X, right? Now, initially you set the I resistance, you keep it open circuit, and now there is a voltage here. Now you take the galvanometer slider and you change it. When this voltage V1 and the voltage across AC are equal, galvanometer reading is 0, right? Because they are, the positive sides are connected same point, right? Now your negative point. Now you slide it. Now we know that we have a resistance per unit length, the voltage per unit length here. So as you slide X, at some point this voltage Vxy, so we will put Vxy and Vac becomes same. At that point galvanometer reading becomes 0. Right? Again, if you want to improve the balance, you can close K and again fine tune it and come to the balance position. At the balance position, Vxy is equal to Vac. At balance, Vxy equal to Vac. Vac is voltage per unit length I into R into length L1. This is voltage per unit length. Into L1, right? So we can find Vxy. So this is how the potentiometer is used to measure voltages, right? So I'll summarize again. We establish a primary circuit. When the K is closed, there will be a current flow through the resistance wire. For the resistance wire, we have resistance per unit length, and then we can calculate VAB, the total potential drop across AB, the resistance wire, that is I into R into L. Then voltage per unit length you can find by dividing the I into R into L by L, so it is IR, right? Now we compare another voltage source here, right? By sliding arrangement, we slide S, right? One point when voltage across AC and voltage across Vxy become equal, the balance condition is obtained. The galvanometer reading is 0, right? So once the balance condition is obtained, we can directly say Vxy is equal to Vac. But how to find Vac? We can multiply the voltage per unit length by the balance condition, balance L1, right? So if you multiply that by L1, balance length, you can calculate the Vxy, right? So this is how potentiometer is used to measure voltages. AB is I into R into L, right, the total M. This potential difference unit length equal I into R. Vxy potential difference to be measured potentiometer is used to measure unknown potential differences accurately. So if you look, you can measure potential differences. You can also measure. We will see how it is done. Current and resistance also. As before, the resistance wire, it should be uniform. It should be uniform cross section throughout. Unless it is uniform cross section, the potential drop per unit length will not be the same everywhere, right? So PD per unit length constant. The positive side, I put positive side of primary and secondary sides should be connected to A. Use protected high sensitive galvanometer for balancing. And most important thing is, now you know that the balance condition should be somewhere in the middle. Then if balance condition is somewhere in the middle, then if you touch either side of this balance condition, the galvanometer should deflect in different directions, right? If it is normally a center zero galvanometer, so if you keep to the left of the balance condition, if it is deflecting to the left side, then if you keep it to the right side of the balance condition, balance point, it should deflect to the right side, because the polarity, the potential difference, polarity of the potential difference are different, right? Balance to be achieved somewhere in the middle third. Check the possibility of balance by touching slider S on either side of potentiometer and ensure G deflects on either direction. Take it down. So it's not either direction, it's opposite directions. When balance is achieved at L1, Vxy equal to IR into L1. Now you can use this potentiometer to straight away compare two voltages. So if you are to compare two voltages, say V1 and V2, and V1 you get a balance condition, balance length of L1, and for V2 you get L2. You can say V1 upon V2 equal IR into L1 divided by IR into L2. So this is IR into L1, this is IR into L2. So V1 over V2 equal L1 over L2. So if you know the balance lengths, the ratio of the balance length is equal to the ratio of the voltages, right? So if you know one of the voltages, right, then other voltage can be easily calculated, right? But still you can calculate from this also. But here you have to find IR. If you want to directly calculate it, you have to find IR. I should be known, R should be known. But if you have to compare two voltages, you don't need IR at all, right? So here IR values are not required. For comparison. Take it. So in this class we have seen Wiesen bridge, meter bridge and potentiometer. Now one thing is that we have to do some sums, calculations, questions. Another thing is there are many practicals, right? Based on these Wiesen bridge, ammeter, voltmeter measurements, Wiesen bridge, meter bridge, and potentiometer. So in the next class we will try to do some experiments, right? Because the structure questions normally you get experiments, right? So we have to understand how to do an experiment. So we will look at some typical experiments that are normally found in exam papers, and then we will also do some questions. So with that the measurements sections will be over, right? Then we can move on to other sections. But before that I would like to do some question section. After finishing the practicals, we can do questions. Now the difference between the direct theory and the practical questions is that in a practical you will be mostly asked to draw a graph, right? So from the Wiesen bridge, meter bridge and potentiometer or the voltage, ammeter, voltmeter measurement, you should know how to find an equation, right, which can be used to draw a graph, right? So the circuit condition, you should derive an equation that will lead to a graph. So from the graph you can calculate certain parameters. So that is the basic idea of practical, because in a theory like this you will take only one value, right? So if you know V2, you can find V1, but it may not be accurate. But when you draw a graph, you take multiple measurements, right, and draw a graph. When you take multiple measurements, the errors are minimized, right? With a single measurement, if an error is present, you won't be able to notice it. But when you take multiple measurements and draw a graph, you can easily identify error points, right? So you can avoid those error points and then draw a median graph, and then you can calculate the required parameters. So you should be able to relate the theoretical equation to a graph, and then you can calculate parameters. So that is what we are doing. Okay, if now questions, you can just go through what we have done, and I have given the theory very simply, so you can just easily go through that, and then we will do the questions and experiments. Thank you.